All right. As you know, we've had quite a bit of active weather the last couple days, especially as far as heavy rainfall is concerned. So that will be a big part of our briefing today. But here are the highlights as far as what to expect. We'll recap a couple of the significant events over the last few days and then get into the current weather as well as the continued flooding threat. And then we'll jump ahead to Friday and into the weekend and getting into the extended forecast and when we might be drying out a little bit. All right, so as I mentioned at the top, we've had quite a bit of rainfall here across a good portion of the area over the last few days. This is to put it into perspective for everybody. On the left there, you see the observed rainfall totals from Tuesday through this morning. And as you can see, a good part of the area has seen at least in the range of 2 inches and higher, especially across North Georgia. And a few locations have seen significantly more than that over the last couple of days. If you take a look at the right-hand side of the screen, that's just putting it in terms of percent of normal where we would be right now over the last 7 days. And as you can see, a good portion of the area is running 100 to 200% of normal for the amount of precipitation that we've seen over the last 7 days. Even a few locations where we've seen the 5 or 6 inch rainfall totals are looking at closer to 600% of normal. So obviously you don't need me to tell you that we're pretty wet out there right now. As far as a couple of the more significant events that we've seen on Tuesday, one of the heavier flash flooding type rainfall events that we had was in Cedartown. About 5 to 6 inches of rainfall fell in a several-hour time frame. That did lead to a decent bit of flooding in that vicinity on Tuesday. And then to throw in a little bit of extra excitement, I guess you could say, we had a couple of severe thunderstorms yesterday, one of which at least produced a tornado. Our tornado survey is still ongoing out towards the social circle area and maybe some points northeastward as well. But we did get some word recently from our survey team that they have confirmed at this point that there was an EF1 tornado with maximum winds of 100 miles per hour in the social circle area yesterday evening. Obviously, more details regarding that will come out later today, but that's where we are at this point in time. Okay, right now, well, if anybody's looked outside today, you can tell it's just like the last couple of days in that we have abundant rainfall across the area streaming in from the southwest. This is due to a deep upper trough and then a weak stationary front at the surface that continue to just funnel plenty of moisture and rainfall across the area today. As you can see on the radar up there on the right, it is still ongoing, and that can be expected through the day today. If we take a look at digging into the flooding threat a little bit more, on the left, you can see forecast rainfall totals. That's additionally on top of what we've already received, and that's through tomorrow morning. So we're looking at pretty widespread expected additional totals of at least an inch up to the 3-inch range across a good portion of North Georgia with some locally higher amounts. Given that we've already seen several inches of rain across many areas over the last couple of days, obviously that will lead to some flooding issues. On the right-hand side of the screen, that is from the Weather Prediction Center and their daily outlook issuance of flooding potential. You can see that a decent portion of the area is in the slight risk, and then portions of the northeastern quadrant of the area are in the moderate risk for excessive rainfall. So that puts it into perspective. We don't get moderate risks for excessive rainfall all that often. So through the day today and into tomorrow morning with that additional heavy rainfall, especially if we get a lot of heavy rainfall all at one point, that could lead to additional flooding issues through the day today. As far as the impacts on area waterways, so far we're doing okay. Right now we don't have any sites that are in flood currently. There are a couple of sites that are forecast at this point to reach minor flood stage over the next couple of days. For instance, Big Creek up in Alpharetta is one of those. But the real key will depend on how much additional rainfall occurs today and where that occurs. So we could be looking at additional localized river and stream flooding through the day today and into tomorrow morning as that water works its way downstream. So that is something else to keep in mind. I wanted to give you an idea as to how this overall rainfall setup will evolve through the remainder of the day and into tomorrow morning. This is one high-resolution model's depiction of how that may occur, and they're all in pretty decent agreement with this. So through the day today and into the remainder of the afternoon, expect additional showers and embedded thunderstorms to develop and kind of work their way northeastward this evening and into tonight. So that's when we're expecting, obviously, the additional heavier rainfall totals through tonight and into tomorrow morning. For that reason, we still do have the flash flood watch out for a good portion of the area, really the northwestern 2/3 of the area at this point in time, and that goes through tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. So continued flash flood watch given the expected heavy rainfall totals. Now, I want to move on and try to be a little positive now. There's some light at the end of the tunnel as far as the persistent heavier rainfall, and that will start to bear out beginning tomorrow. This is taking a look at Friday's forecast. So the upper trough that's been focusing all this heavy rainfall across our state will begin to break down tomorrow, and especially as we get into Saturday. But that will allow for more scattered coverage tomorrow. So we're still looking at the potential for some localized heavier downpours and heavier rainfall, but the widespread heavy rainfall threat will begin to diminish somewhat beginning tomorrow. And that you can see on the right-hand side of the screen as far as forecast rainfall totals. Widespread are considerably lower than today, just locally heavier downpours possible beginning on Friday. And then jumping into the weekend, that trend will continue, really looking at just more typical summertime afternoon showers and thunderstorms beginning Saturday, and temperatures will begin to rebound back towards what we would expect for early August. And then looking at Sunday, again, typical afternoon scattered showers and thunderstorms with temperatures up near 90. Taking a quick look into early next week, really very similar to this weekend. Not the persistent heavy rainfall that we've had through this week, but more afternoon scattered showers and thunderstorms with warmer temperatures through early next week. Just to summarize, really the continued flooding threat will be through the day today into tonight. An additional 1 to 3 inches of rainfall is a pretty decent bet across especially the northwestern 2/3 of the area. And then that flash flood watch will continue until 8 a.m. tomorrow to cover that threat. So beginning on Friday, we'll start to taper the widespread heavy rainfall threat and transition back into a typical summertime scattered afternoon shower and thunderstorm type weather pattern into early and mid-week next week. So that's what I have for you today on the briefing. So at this point,